Good morning and welcome to the morning show with Angel and Tina. Tina, how are you doing today?
It's Thursday. I woke up this morning and my roommate was like, "What day is it?" I was like, "It's Friday." Thank God it's Friday. Like for like 2 hours, I kept saying that, and then I went, "Oh, you know
Yeah.
what? It's only Thursday."
So we call that in Zoomland, right? Or whatever. It's Blur's Day. Like who knows? Like whatever day is
And
it?
then
It's
I've been like on and off medication with me being in the hospital, in and out of the hospital, and I'm just like, "Wait, what day is today?" And then
and
like you
really
just asked me this morning, "Hey, do you remember me calling you this weekend asking you such and such?" And I was like, "Wait, what?"
no. Yeah,
This is why I don't answer the phone to you people when you guys call me and I'm on meds.
Oh, we're you people now.
I'm on
We're
mute.
you people
You
now.
people.
Well, I just have to say that I feel overlooked because
I was gonna
you
say
invite me,
I know.
me to talk on a Thursday, and then you think it's Friday.
But I knew you were coming on today. I just thought today was Friday.
She's like, no, we missed you. No, Robert, what? You're right. It's Blur's Day. Robert, hi, how are you?
I am well. How are you?
Great,
I
welcome.
love that Robert was just telling us in the green room how he got connected to us and how it all kind of unfolded. Robert, you want to repeat what you
Yes,
told us?
one of my fitness clients here in Rhode Island hosted a virtual networking event, and I almost didn't go because 7 p.m. for me is like midnight. So, because my day starts so early. So, I almost didn't go, but I was like, nah, I told her I'd go. So, let me show up. And then I met, I actually made a couple connections in that group, but I met this one woman who told me about someone else. I hadn't heard of him, but she mentioned him a couple times. So I was like, all right, let me look this guy up. So I looked him up. I applied to speak on one of his shows. He picked me too. He called me up. We spoke on the phone.
Was that Shay Brown?
Shay Brown, yes.
Yeah, Shay's a good
Yes.
guy. We love to give.
Yeah, he's one of our fan favorites.
Yeah, we
Nice.
love to give him some love here on the show because there's a lot of collaboration goes on behind the scenes. He's a rock
Yes.
star. Okay, sorry, didn't mean to interrupt, but
No, it's okay.
We
It's okay.
digress here on the show.
Yeah, and so the show I watched was the show that he was on. Yeah, and so then I got on his show. We had a great hour. I gotta say, even though it was at 11 p.m., but I had to nap at like 7 to make sure I could get up for that one.
No, you and me both. That's that 11 o'clock show. I'm like,
I know.
I was lucky because when I did Shay Brown's show, I was still living in Colorado, so I was on Mountain Time. Still pretty late, 9 o'clock at night, and to do 9 till 11 was. I was like, what time?
yes.
Say that again. Like you, what? Really?
Yeah, like he caught me off guard at first because we're just talking about the show and we have a good conversation going. And I was like, yeah, I'm definitely in. He's like, okay, great, I can get you on.
It's 11 p.m. tomorrow. You're what?
Yeah, I was like, hey.
No.
When you're a morning person, you're a morning
Yes.
person like me.
Yep.
And so we get up like a butt crack of dawn. At 5 a.m. I get up.
Yeah, I get up at 4:20.
11. I'm like, yo, I'm like in bed between like 8:30 and 9:30.
Yes, it's so true.
I woke up this morning and it was like 6 o'clock, and I woke up and I thought Tina gets up at this time. I just rolled over back to bed.
And I got up at 4:30. I rolled over and I went, oh man, I hate when I wake up before 5 because then I'm like, I feel like that last 30 minutes I need.
So can you not go back to sleep? Are you just wide awake at that time? Or you've got things that you do at that hour?
Toss and turn.
When my brain turns on, it turns on like immediately. And I'm like,
Yep.
Yeah, the only time I've ever been a morning person or got myself is because I had to, right? Because I had a schedule, I had places to be, and I used to host a morning show that was at 5 a.m. and we had to go to the studio. I would get to the studio at 3:30 in the morning. And I swear that, it was going to kill me. It just to get up that early every single day. I thought it was going to kill me. And I almost
funny
did.
is I was talking to one of my girlfriends the other day and she's like, isn't it funny that we used to go out to the clubs at 11 o'clock at night?
And that's when you would go, right?
That's when you would actually leave to that, at 11 o'clock. Your friends would come over at 9, you would get dressed, and then you would leave to the club at 11 and come home at 4 or 5 o'clock and then go to work at 8 o'clock the next day. And
So
I
true.
was able to do that. Okay, that was way before the Tina Torres days. This was like when I was a party girl. I am no longer a party girl now. Not like that.
Parties in the day. We just went, my husband and I just drove down to the Florida Keys. I'd never been there, my very first time there. And there was a sign. We went and had lunch at a restaurant, but the place right next door had a sign. They are open until 4 a.m. in the morning. And I kind of like you, Tina, I'm like, who does that? Who can stay up until like and to be out until 4 in the morning? Like, yeah, no, not anymore.
And where I'm from in San Diego, they had their clubs open until 6 o'clock in the morning. And so we would go from one club. I mean, like
that takes dedication.
And it was it was like a little science project. You know, okay, we're gonna go to this one, and then we're gonna leave at 3, and then we're gonna go to this one. But as long as I had like 2 or 3 hours of sleep, I was good.
You're good to go.
Now, I would be like.
How about you, Robert? Are you do you get up early? Do you stay up late? Like, how many hours of sleep do you get?
Yeah, well, I own a gym, so my first class is at 5:15. So I'm usually up about 4:20. And so when I first started it was tough. My earliest class was 6:30, and that was a stretch. Yeah. But then once I added the 5:15, it took about a 2-week adjustment period. But now, even on the weekends, I really can't sleep past 6.
Are you physical or are you all virtual?
Both.
Okay.
You do both. Yeah, I used to take a 5 a.m. class. A girlfriend and mine, we started taking a 5 a.m. Workout class. Like, this was years and years ago. And I had decided that I had to do it every day. If I was going to get up at 5 or get up to be at this 5 a.m. class, then we had to do it every day, because every other day just made it so much harder to get into a habit and get into a routine. But that was different. I was like going to bed early. I wasn't. I
wouldn't be able to do the club party thing anymore because I am way older than I used to be. I need like 8 hours of sleep. Hence me going to bed at 8:30, 9 o'clock.
Yeah, me too. I'm in that same ballpark. Like, people will text me at like 9 something, and I'll text them back in the morning. Like, you didn't get my text? I'm like, hell no.
Oh, I'm sleeping.
No way.
Okay, so do you keep your phone near you? Do you put it away? Do you turn it off at night? What are your tech habits?
My phone is near me, but it's on silent all the time, just because I'm a solopreneur. So if I had it on, it would ding all day long. so it's always on silent.
Same.
Yeah, I had to put mine on silent. Yeah, mine's always on silent also. That was just a habit from being on the radio, because you can't have your phone ever going off. And so it's always on silent. But then, then your watch.
Oh, then my watch dings or it vibrates too. So when I have my phone on
I can't mess with the watches.
My watch silences too. So I don't. So, but my phone is always by my bed. It is the last thing I pick up, and it is the first thing I pick up.
See, I take mine and I would plug it in the kitchen. At the end of my day, I'm like, okay, I'm off, and I would not look at it again until the morning. And so it's not even near me, and it's because solopreneurs, right? You could just be on all the time if you don't have, because there's it's always something. In fact, yesterday we went out to dinner, and I had put my phone in my purse. When I pulled it out, I'm like, okay, there's 12 messages on here.
Listen, that is how, when I woke up on Sunday afternoon after I was in the hospital and everything, and we put on Facebook that I was in the hospital, I think.
Oh, Tina, you had to have had.
I had like 50 text messages, and I had at least 100 missed phone calls. Wow. And then on Facebook, there was like 200. I was like, dang. But then I was all medicated too, so I didn't want to like respond.
Oh, so Tina, how are you feeling?
I don't know. I don't know because. Okay, so for those that know, they thought it was my appendix that burst on Saturday morning. I was in excruciating pain, and let me tell you, when I say I can take pain pretty good. But this pain, like I was on the floor crying, screaming on the bathroom floor kind of pain. I went into the hospital. You probably wouldn't even recognize me. I looked jacked up. My roommate was like, do you want me to put this on? I was like, no, I don't care. Take me to hospital. I don't care. But I probably woke
Wow.
up the whole hospital. But so they put me on heavy pain medication. I have a kidney stone. It's like 5 millimeters or whatever it said. They said, well, it's a little bit bigger than normal. I said, of course it is, because I'm an overachiever. Of course it is.
Go big or go home.
Right? And I'm like, so I don't know if I've passed it or not, but I haven't had pain in like almost 48 hours.
Oh.
On glass.
Yeah, you might have.
But on Monday, on Monday I was fine. Tuesday, I was in pain again. Not as worse as Saturday, but in pain again. So I guess what they say is when it moves, that's when you're in pain. And when it doesn't move, you're good. So the pain comes and goes.
But you haven't had pain for 2 days.
But I haven't had pain in almost 2 days.
Oh, yeah. But you didn't do the little filter thing to catch it?
No, because you know how many times I have to pee a day? I drink like 2 gallons of water every single day because they're like,
you could have named it, right?
And it's like this little strainer. Like, come on.
See, this is the irony. So Tina, I told you I donated a kidney to my sister in 2011.
I remember you telling me that.
This is the irony. So they were able to rewire my sister to have my kidney work for her. They were able to rewire me to work on one, but there's no way to stop a kidney stone.
Right?
It doesn't make sense to me.
I can live without one. You can move it around. You can put it in another body. I can live, but you can't fix this.
Yeah, you can't take a stone out.
So everybody was giving me all these, these home remedies. I have like a big package today coming from somebody who's like, take all these and take all this. And so I'm trying everything. I'm like taking a shot of extra virgin olive oil, taking a shot of apple cider vinegar.
I knew that was coming. I knew it.
Yeah.
But I'm like, whatever it takes, like, because this pain, it's worse than labor. I've had 3 children. It is worse than labor pains.
Wow.
Well, you didn't know, you didn't know what it was, and I think that's
like
adds to the pain.
I didn't know what it was, and if I didn't know any better, because there's certain things you have to do to be able to have a baby. So I'm like, well, if I didn't know any better, I thought I would be in labor. But I was like, there's something wrong. Something's wrong. And so I told my roommate, like I literally crawled up the stairs and I told my roommate, I have to go to the doctor. She was like, oh my God, it's probably your pet. She's like, where does it hurt? And I was telling her, and I was on the ground, like rolling on the ground like a dog.
Wow. And
she was like, Tina, it's your appendix. It has to be your appendix. It has to be. And that's what they thought too. And they're like, we're going to probably have to take her into emergency surgery. And they were like, let's do a CT scan first. And they did. And of course, it's a kidney stone. But I don't know if it passed or not. If it did,
she's felt better for 48 hours. So
I don't want you to ever get a kidney stone. I've never had one in my life. 46 years old. And I just got my first one. I'm never going to get one again. I will do whatever it takes.
Robert, you donated a kidney to your sister.
I did.
That's what I mean, like as I'm trying to think of the word, I'm just like, right? That's love. Like that. So tell us about that. Like, how long ago was that?
All right. So she called me Christmas night, 2009.
You want to give me a Christmas present?
It's not all about you, Tina.
No, that's what she said on Christmas night.
That's how Tina would have asked.
Oh, my bad.
That's how Tina would have asked you. She would call you out and say,
I kind of sort of need a kidney.
No, it's like, I figured she was calling just to say hi, talk to the kids. I'll talk to her kids. But she had a different tone in her voice. Like her voice was very monotone. It was very soft. And so I knew something was wrong. I'm like, what's happening here? She said she had gone to the hospital because she had pain in her leg, in her thigh. And so it just got excruciating. So she went to the hospital, and through the blood work and the urine samples and stuff, they found her kidneys were at 12% function. 12.
Both of them?
Yeah.
That's not good.
No, not at all. So she was saying that the doctor said that they're going to fail sooner than later. She's going to need dialysis and she's going to need a kidney. And now I'm the youngest of 7 siblings, and I'm the healthiest, and I'm the only one that really controls their own schedule. So I was like, you know what? I'll do it. And then my other sister, she had thrown her hat in the ring too. But I told him, like, you're an educator. You're all over Massachusetts. Like, you can't do this.
But don't you have to be a match too, though, right? I mean,
Well,
some
yeah.
are not matches.
Yeah, and I don't even know how that works because I guess there's like a 6-point scale, and technically she's my half sister, but we don't play the half card.
Yeah.
So we were a 2 out of 6, and so I didn't mind doing it, but it was like, is it gonna take?
Is that enough? Like,
Yeah.
to go through all of this and
What is the scale? Like, you have to be more than 2 to.
I'm the type, I don't need details. So,
like, whatever.
So I just asked the surgeon, this is good enough? And he's like, yes. I said, let's go. I said, like, because the more questions I ask, I might get answers I won't like. Right.
Yeah, I have heard that it's worse on the person who has donated the kidney than it is for the person who receives it.
Well, it's like my sister was really sick. So when she started dialysis, the effects of it were hitting her really hard. So to the point to where she started skipping. And what made it even worse is she got sick. She got a virus. So we couldn't. Now, I said she called me Christmas Day, 2009. We didn't have the surgery until May 26, 2011.
Oh, because you have to go. I mean, my husband's cousin donated a kidney, and he had to, his regimen and lifestyle leading up to donating
you
that
can't
kidney.
you can't take medications. You have to stop drinking if you're drinking. Like,
you have to be very, very healthy going into it because you want to minimize the chance of her body rejecting.
Yeah, so she has to be on some kind of regimen. You have to be, and all of the process leading. So it took over a year, almost a year and a half.
Yeah, a year to think about it.
That you need it to the time it was happening, and oh my gosh.
Yeah, I think we found out early February that we were good to move forward. And then because I'm here in Rhode Island. She's in New Jersey now, but she was in New York. So I had to go down to Manhattan for all the testing. And then she gets sick, and the surgeons, like my team, I have a team, she has a team. And only the 2 coordinators talk to each other. So she was just saying her team was saying that she has to be completely rid of the virus before we do the surgery. And like they kept testing her like every couple weeks, and it's still there. It's still there. It's still there. So it says it took over a year. And I really wasn't nervous at all until 3 days prior. 3 days. I went through all the testing. I went through the 24-hour urine sample thing, and just the everything was fine. But for whatever reason, as I was packing to go down to New York for the surgery, is when it started hitting me. It's like, all right, so people can live with 1, but we're born with 2. So it's like
there's a reason for that.
Somewhere in life's design, they were like, we need
for
to.
a sharing mechanism. Like
It could be.
Got 2 just in case we need to share.
Yeah, so that's the only time I really started thinking about it. Like, we have 1 heart, we have 1 spleen, we have 1 pancreas. But we have 2 lungs.
Started going through your head. You're like,
yeah, it's like we have 2 lungs for a reason, and we have 2 kidneys for a reason. I'm like, should I be messing with that reason? But then it just reminded myself that my sister's ill. Because I didn't really get the full magnitude of it until I think this was maybe the 3rd time that I went down to Manhattan for testing, where she was actually there too at the same time. And I could just see the look on her face, the look on my brother-in-law's face, the look on my niece's face. I'm like, they're really hurting. Like they're really hurting. Like this has to get done.
Wow.
What a brave thing to do, and a courageous thing to do, though. But listen, on the other side, she's got a Christmas present from you every single year.
Yes, she says that all the time. She says that all the time.
Now you're her favorite. Now you get to be the favorite. Right?
I'm the youngest. I'm already the favorite.
You're already the favorite.
You can tell he's the baby of the family. You can always tell the baby. Like I have 3 boys, and the baby of the family, they get a little bit of different things. Mom, can you make me some macaroni and cheese? I'll be like, yeah, baby, I'll make it some. Mom, can you make this? Mom, can you make this? And my older son would be like, yo, how come you're not making that for us? I'm like, because he asked me. Like, Mom, we would have asked you, you would have said no.
Probably. My youngest is a boy. I've got twin daughters, and I've got my youngest son.
Nice. I have twin boys.
And he he didn't cut his hair like for a year, right? He came home in February, right before the pandemic, and he was planning to come back to Florida to work for Disney. And so, he's doing all of this stuff while he's home, kind of getting his affairs in order. And then, of course, the whole world shut down. So he didn't get a haircut this whole year. It just grew.
I thought he always had long hair. I never knew like he was just doing it because of the pandemic.
He's like, why? Right? What
No,
for? I'm not going anywhere. Right? And it was,
his hair was long, like
it's long. It was long. And so the other day, like 2 days ago, both Alicia and Michael went to go get a haircut. Alicia donated like 12 inches, right?
Wow.
So their hair grows. And she comes in and she's like, look, like I went and I got a haircut. Like, so now our hair is like this short. And I'm like, oh, that's cute. And she had it in 2 little braided pigtails, right? And I'm like, that's cute. And then I went out and I went around the corner and Michael had gotten a haircut.
chopped off.
All off. And so I'm gushing, right? I'm like, oh, look at your face and look how fabulous you look. Oh.
I told you I donated hair and you didn't say all that. You said, oh, look at that. Look, Mom, you're crying. Look, you care about him more than me, Mom.
Were you there? Because that is exactly. She's like, oh, it's cute. It is, but this is my baby.
That's what my kids say.
It sounds like my household.
They're like, Mom, you treat JJ like 1,000 times better. I'm like, look, JJ has been with me for a long time. JJ used to go on his bike to IHOP on Mother's Day because everybody else was gone. He would go on his bike to IHOP on Mother's Day, get me breakfast in bed, like at 6 o'clock in the morning. He would bring me coffee in bed before because he would always say, bye, Mom, I'm going to school. He would be like, here, Mom, I got your coffee. I'm going to school. I'm like, oh, thank you. I just love you. You're my favorite. Shh, but don't tell nobody else.
Don't tell nobody. Don't tell anybody. Well,
that's how my kids are too, Angel. Like, Mom,
yeah,
we both did the same thing. And look how you are with him.
Yeah, I totally. She's just like, you just, But he's the baby. He's the youngest, he's the boy.
You should have told her, Alicia, you're not a kid no more.
She's okay. So Robert.
Yes.
We're actually we're actually staying with in my daughter's apartment. We're about to close on a house, and so 2 weeks ago we moved in with our daughter's little 2-bedroom apartments. There's 5 of us in this 2-bedroom apartment.
She's like, she can hear you.
Actually, she's at work, but her sister is here and her brother is here, and they tattle. Man, they tattle on me.
Tattle?
They do. They're like, Mom did this when you were gone, or Mom took me, or Mom, they tattle. They're
like this.
At me. But anyways, the other day I was saying something and I called them the kids. Like, we're staying with the kids, or we're going to be with the kids. And Alicia, because she's 27, she's like, Mom, stop calling us kids. Like, we're not kids anymore. And I thought, well, what do I call you? Like, I've always called you the kids. You'll always be. And I realized I call them the kids all the time. Like, this is a thing for me. And they're adults. Right? All of a sudden, like, one day you wake up and your kids.
You still are making sure that you don't say that now. Like, because you say
I'm really hyper aware of how often I say it. But yeah.
But that should have been your number one response.
Yeah, but you're not a kid anymore. He's still my kid.
You're not a kid no more.
It's just really, it's just this weird thing. But anyways, all right, let's get to know Robert a little more officially. This was kind of fun to get to know, a little bit unscripted, behind the scenes, happy, bright start to the day. But Robert finds fulfillment in helping others discover their calling in life and turning it into a thriving career. He speaks regularly on the principles that have helped him build extraordinary resilience in teaching his audience how to weather the storms of life and come out victorious. He's a personal storytelling coach, teaches you how to turn your life experiences into powerful stories that can change people's lives. That's pretty powerful statement, Robert.
Thank you.
How do you become a storytelling coach? Like, are you a writer? Did you always do stories when you were young? Were you the storyteller of the family?
You know what it was? It was something that I was doing but not realizing it. So I was into leadership from a young age, being captain of sports teams. I started managing a small diner when I was 15 and became a general manager at 20. So when you're in a leadership role, you hear a lot of stuff. Just from whether it's from upper management or whether it's from guests or customers, clients, whatever we call them.
Lower management, everything.
Yes, everybody, staff, like, but you just hear. Exactly, but you hear so much stuff. And I tend to gravitate towards people who had lower self-esteem, confidence issues, and just help them, rewrite their own story so that they can get on a better path of having higher self-esteem, higher confidence, and just become a higher performer. So it was just something that I was doing subconsciously. So once I started speaking, because I always had dreams of being a speaker.
Well, you got the voice for it for sure. And look at that smile.
That radio voice.
Yeah, you're kind of easy on the eyes. So yeah.
Hey now. Thank you.
I did not say that.
you thought it though. Yeah, so it's funny you mentioned DJ because I had the most hood rat DJ setup as a teenager.
I can't believe you did that.
I really did. This was the ghettoest thing I've ever seen.
Who knows what that word is?
And it's funny because I was raised in the woods. So I didn't get blessed with the handy gene. Like my dad, he was an engineer. Like he could build absolutely anything. I didn't get that. Like I'm good at motivating people, but I've always wanted to be a DJ, like way back in the day with the turntables. It's all computerized now, but with the turntables and the mixer. So I was working. I remember I used to ride my bike to the store and I had the little basket on the back of the bike and I'd get stuff, I'd get a mixer, I'd wait a couple paychecks, I'd get a turntable, get another one, but I needed a stand. And so I went out, Dad had some old wood out back and I just put one together. And when I tell you, it's the ghettoest thing I've ever seen in my life. But it worked. I made myself a microphone stand.
You're like, you don't want to know what it looks like on behind the scenes. Just know me right here. It looks good.
It's so true. But that was one of the first things I wanted to do, which kind of led to what I'm doing now. It's like, I just wanted to be a DJ, crowds of people. I used to give this, you're going to think I'm crazy for this, but I used to give motivational speeches to the trees in the backyard. And, but like, so now this was when I was the last one
greener?
at home. Huh?
Did the leaves grow greener on the trees?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
They say when you talk to plants that
yes.
They say they grow. Yeah, Tina still gives motivational speeches to her shoes. She lines them all up.
They're lined up, like you guys are so pretty. I just love you.
You're guaranteed a standing ovation. Yeah. They said every time the wind blew, the leaves made noise. It's like, yes, thank you.
They stand 5 inches at attention all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. So I knew then, like, I wanted to be. I don't want to say famous, but I wanted to be an influencer of some sort. I love the music. So when I finally decided to leave the restaurant industry and I got into fitness, I mean, it kind of happened by accident because I'm a single parent now with 5 kids and I was just missing so much stuff. And just the nights, the weekends, the holidays, the 10-hour shift that turns into a 16-hour shift, stuff breaking overnight. And it just got to be too much. And, not knocking the industry, just having so many kids. Like I didn't want to be that dad that was never home. And what did it was one day my now ex, she was on a work like she used to work for a dentist and he takes them away every year. So they went on a cruise to Mexico. And so
work for him.
And so while she was away, I had to give the kids their medicine. I had no clue what they took. None whatsoever. So I'm asking the kid, Benjamin, what do you take? Ben's like 5. I'm like, what do you take?
He's like, I don't know. Mommy gives me a teaspoon of that and 4 of those and 1 of those. I don't know.
It's purple. It's purple. Yeah. I take the purple one.
And it tastes gross.
Yeah. So at that moment, I was like, oh my God, like I'm that dad. I'm like, I don't know what size shoes they wear. I don't know what size pants they are. I don't know what medicine they take because I'm just working their life away.
Mm.
And so I was like, you know what? I said, I need something to just break this up. So with the help of her father, we converted my garage into a gym. And originally it was just for me to just blow off some steam because I was coming home fired up and, yelling at her, yelling at the kids, just bringing the stress from work in the house, like freaking out over things that I shouldn't freak out over.
Yeah.
And that's not me. I'm built for happy-go-lucky. I'm built for smiles. I'm built to motivate people. Like I'm not built to carry around all that hostility. And so I was like, since I have this, maybe I'll train a couple people, get back to my sports coaching roots. And then next thing you know, I had 40 people training out of my garage. I was almost making my management money.
Wow,
I
40 people in your
Like,
garage.
he
Like,
says
that's
it's a
business.
little garage. He may do with what he has. Like there's so many people out there like, I need this and I need this and I need, you do not need all of this stuff.
No. And where it changed for me was one of my clients. So now this was back when Planet Fitness was just starting to pop up everywhere. And so at the time I was only charging $50 a month for three classes a week. And so this woman's writing me a check. And as we know, Planet Fitness is $10 a month. So she goes to hand it to me and she pulls it back.
Them up for the platinum.
This is true. Black card. That's right. Or whatever it's called now.
It
right?
is a black card.
Yes. And so before she gives it to me, she pulls it back and she says, I just want you to know that a Planet Fitness just opened up 2 minutes from my house. Brand new equipment, spotless showers. She's like, but I'm giving you 5 times the amount just for the way you believe in me.
But
and that's when it hit.
You do not get a personal trainer.
No.
And you were her personal trainer, and having that personal trainer and that accountability person.
Yes.
But here's that, but this is right. The consumer, right? They're not comparing apples to apples. They think they are, but brand new, right next to my house. Yeah. All this equipment, all these facilities, all these amenities. But because of you, because of how you pour into me and that you believe in me, I'm willing to pay 5 times more than what this other place is
to
charging.
train in the garage.
Yeah. What a powerful, what a pivotal moment for you,
yes.
Robert, to realize the value that you had created, that here comes the big fancy schmancy. And the big fancy schmancy can't compete, not on price, not on amenities, not on location, like all the excuses that we often say, but you had proven and given so much value. There was just no question. There was just no question for her.
Yeah, and what that did for me was I knew it was bigger than just weight and inches. It was far, far bigger than that. So my platform now, when people always say, oh, so you're a trainer. I said, I'm not a trainer. I said, I'm a coach. I said, I coach people through life, and fitness is part of life.
I think that is so important with so many things. Whatever it is you're doing with Angel, she teaches media and PR. With me, I teach client retention, follow-up, building those relationships. With you teach weight loss and eating healthier and, building this and building that. It all starts with your mindset, and you have to change the way you think. You have to change the way you are thinking about everything every minute of the day before you can go on. And until you do that, none of what we teach is going to get into their heads.
See, and I want to sorry, and I want to take it a step further, because you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. But how people are going to change that mindset is they got to have the vision. So before I opened up my facility, this is probably like a year and a half prior, no savings, bad credit. All I had was the fact that I knew I could change people's lives. Like that was all I was going for. So I said, as long as I stay on this path, things are going to happen. So I took out my notebook and I just sketched what I wanted my dream facility to look like. And I wrote it down. And again, this is like a year and a half prior to it happening. So now along the way, my clientele base started growing and growing and growing. I was up to probably about 160 or so members, and again, and now I'm renting.
Where are you getting these people from?
Just word of mouth. Well, this was when Groupon and Live and Social first came out. I ran a Live and Social deal. I got I sold 150 and like 125 of them stayed on.
Wow.
So yeah, talk about an overnight change. But so as I grew, I had a big class one day. It was 7:30 p.m., which is not prime time for fitness, but I had 41 people in this class. And one of my clients comes up to me and says, Rob, he's like, why don't you have your own facility? And I'm a very open person. I said stupid decisions when I was younger are biting me in the tail right now. I said, that's why. And he's like, well, you got a really good thing going here. It's like, I'm going to talk to a buddy of mine and see if we can help you. So fast forward, we had like a Shark Tank style meeting where they were just all about the numbers and the business and the plan and the goal. And so they decide that they want to invest in me. So now we're going around and we're looking for facilities. And we looked at a couple that were promising. Area was a little suspect, but so we finally come into one, which is in a great area, great community. We walked in and this place was a dump. Right. When I tell you the carpet was stained, it was moldy. There was the front room used to be a call center. So there's holes in the wall and telephone wires are hanging all over the place. I looked around and I said, this is perfect. And
you could see beyond what the was physically in front of you. That's a gift, Robert. That is
I cannot do that.
There are people that they're like, come in like, I don't like this wall color. And so no, like
this is not about the wall color.
You can paint it, right? The fact that you had, well, one, you had your vision, but that you could walk into a place and picture it differently. Mm-hmm. I mean, I watch like these little little home shows when they do the renovations in the home shows.
I love them. And like go in and go, oh, yeah.
I can't even like
just take this wall out and do
I can't. Yeah, that's a skill and that's a gift. So
thank you.
Kudos to you for having that, because that puts you in a whole league of your own.
We got to take a quick commercial break, but we are going to come right back with Robert. This is such an inspiring story, and I am so glad that you and I connected. There's going to be a lot of big things coming up with Shut Up and Grind. So we're going to be right back with our commercial break.
Yeah, this is our commercial break time, right? Okay. Thank you, Robert, for being here. And thank you to our sponsors for the Angel and Tina Morning Show, the Zandra TV Network. If you've ever thought about hosting your own TV show, you understand the power of digital streaming content, getting on TV, on those fabulous channels like Roku, Chromecast, Apple TV, Fire Stick. The Zandra TV Network is available on 7 digital streaming platforms, and so is the Angel and Tina Morning Show. If you've ever thought about taking your content from YouTube, or if you do a podcast and putting it on digital streaming television, schedule a discovery call by going to beonztv.com. That's beonztv.com. Bliss by the Lake is our clothing sponsor. They get new inventory in every single week. Check them out online, and they ship everywhere across the globe. Bliss by the Lake Boutique. And Sonic VA, our video assistant. You're creating those videos, but it takes forever to edit them, to put them together, upload them, make sure that they're right for YouTube. Well, Sonic VA wants to be your video assistant partner. And when you mention the Angel and Tina Morning Show, they're going to give you a 10% discount off your first 5 videos, which is pretty impressive. So make sure, let's take your videos and your YouTube channel up a notch with Sonic VA. Go to sonicva.com/video, sonicva.com. Those are our sponsors. Robert Foster is our guest. Love the inspiration, getting to know you behind the scenes a little bit. So you walked into this dump, like just this absolute dump.
Yes.
Did you buy it? Was that your space?
Well, let me back up a second. So when I said this is perfect, both of my partners looked at me like I had 5 heads.
Yeah, of course. It's our money. He thinks it's perfect.
And I went back to what I wrote down, and it was almost the exact layout. Because I said I wanted a smaller room up front that was comfortable, welcoming. before we hit them with all like the kettlebells and the climbing ropes and all that stuff. Because some people they'll talk themselves right out of it immediately. So I wanted something welcoming.
They'll be like, oh man, I
Yes.
can't do all this.
Yep, I said I wanted the office off of the front room so we could be right there by the front door, a storage room, and then a big open space in the back. And that's exactly how that layout was. And they were both like, if okay, he's like, if you can see it, we'll talk to the landlord and make an offer. So we made an offer and we got it.
Wow.
Yeah, we absolutely.
Okay, and so is that what your fitness place, what was it called? Was it called Shut Up and Grind?
Actually, I can show you. That's what we built it into. If I can get out of the way for a second, that's what we built it into. So, although unfortunately,
yeah, Robert, that looks a little bit intimidating. If I would have walked in there, I would have been like, "Yo, this is CrossFit stuff."
See, but that's why there's that smaller room first. So we get all the goals and everything else. But no, it was called RBF Fitness and Nutrition. So, because we chuckled about that already.
Tim and I had a little conversation about RBF Fitness. So, RBF is a short acronym for, resting bee face.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I forgot. I'm like,
so Robert Benjamin Foster.
Yes. See, so it's now my dad, my mom, myself, and 2 of my other siblings are all RBF.
but look at their resting face. It's not itchy.
Not at all.
So unfortunately, we don't have that location anymore. So our neighbors wanted our unit, so they complained about everything that we did, and so the landlord didn't renew the lease. But it's all right though, because I'm in an even bigger place now. I'm back to renting space, but I have a good amount of space, solid client base, but I'm branching off into coaching and speaking now anyway. So
it's something again like 10 years ago where we're 12 years ago in 2008, where those garage stories have come to reality. Yep. And he has literally taken it from the garage into reality. And what an amazing and inspirational story that was. Oh my gosh.
Thank you.
We're so glad that you're here.
Yeah. There is a thing. It's these garage stories. Like right now during the pandemic, businesses were being started in garages, in dining rooms, in corners of bedrooms. Like people are turning and converting spaces into building and creating something that they weren't doing before. And I mean, some of the biggest companies, right? Apple and Microsoft.
Yeah, Uber was started, even Amazon was started in a little tiny corner in that guy's garage.
Yeah. Garage. So, what's so funny is somebody was asking me, because we're getting ready to buy a house. And he's like, Angel, do you have room on the street to park your cars? Turn your garage into an office. And I'm like, no, there's actually an office in the house. So
offices in there.
Right. But now I'm thinking, well, maybe I should start something. Like garage has good juju, right? Like there's some
that is true. However, you do have a room in there that looks like a garage that is going to be your money maker room.
My money maker.
That is her money maker room. It's her MMR.
My MMR, my money maker room.
And it's her studio. And it's her little tiny little office.
That is true. That is true. But don't underestimate the garage. Okay, so Robert, what are you most excited about coming up, going forward? 2020 was kind of it was the best, worst year, right? What are you excited about? What are you working on now?
Well, so what I'm working on I don't think I fully answered the storytelling coach question, but I'll touch on that now, is helping people realize that they can do what they want to do, even though they may be a little older. I mean, I'm only 46. It was like, I'm not old, but I mean, I'm not 20 anymore either. But I just hear so many people saying like that ship has sailed, or that time has passed, or
too old for this.
Yeah, too old for this, and it's just not true. Like it's not true at all. So I mean, I was 34 when I decided to move on from the restaurant industry, and then now I was 45 when I started this podcast and, speaking, and people, just the stories that people have inside is powerful. And I want to give an example of a hot button topic is on race, right? So I was on a show last week, and now I wasn't raised to play the race card, right? So that's just not part of my DNA. So I was on this show and I'm listening to other people talk, and they're talking about white dominance and white this, white that, and blacks have this and blacks don't have that. And so I'm just listening, waiting like a patient cobra for my moment to strike, right? And so finally, this woman was talking about what she had to go through to get this job that she wanted, but she was telling the story with such a negative connotation. So finally I chimed in and I was like, why do you want to display it that way? Like, what message does that tell our younger people? So like, if we want to change our family status for generations to come, we don't tell them you're going to have this struggle, you're going to have that struggle. I said, instead, why can't you say, I went to college, I worked 2 jobs, I saved up money, I fixed my credit, I did this, I did that, and this is where I got
what to do, no matter who you are.
Yes, I said, so why don't you spin the story that way instead of looking at it as a place of victimhood? Look, like you got through. You did what you had to do to get there. It's like, let that be your message.
Yeah, right. And how empowering.
Yes.
You even think that. I remember Robert having a conversation with somebody close to me who was kind of just woe is me moment. And I'm like, you have, and you've done. And he's like, it was like that moonstruck moment. He's like, it just felt like you slapped me like back into reality. Right? This is it. It's the story. Oh, this is so good, right? It's the stories not only that we tell ourselves, but that we're telling others and creating that legacy and that impact and that power. Okay, but then like, so that's all fun and good, Robert, but how do you turn that into, now I'm a storytelling coach? Like, how does that become now your title?
Because not many people have that title. Right?
I just took it.
Nobody else said it.
Exactly.
And
I took
instead
it.
of saying I was an RBF coach.
Because if I say I'm a speaker coach, there's tons of speaker coaches. You're a business coach, there's tons of business coaches. And you want to stand out. You want to stand out from the crowd. So it's like, right, I need something catchy, but this is what I do. So just before I logged on with you two, I was on a coaching call with one of my clients. And now I dropped out of college. I have no degree. I have no formal education, but I got educated in other ways with workshops and masterminds. Yes, exactly. So this woman has a PhD, but she's almost too smart for her own good. And so I'm just working with her on coming down a couple notches. And then as she's talking to me, I'm writing stuff down and we craft her story. Like it's a thing. It's actually a thing. So like just the way she talks about herself, the way she looks at her job, and the way she coaches. We just took her personality type, took all of her own personal adjectives, took a couple stories from her past, and we built a story for her to tell. Like I'm helping her create a podcast, and so helping her create her content and her central message. I mean, I can't go into detail because we got privacy and stuff, but that's the beauty of it. So she's gonna take that info, and it's gonna completely change how she speaks about herself, and that's the name of my program: Speak About Yourself Out Loud.
Oh,
Speak about yourself out loud. You are, because somebody right now needs to hear your story. Somebody right now somewhere needs to hear your story, what you've gone through, how you've overcome, the breakthrough, your perseverance, the hope, the encouragement. And what a gift, Robert, how you have, and the transformation. Like that's part of the process too. Tina and I were chatting this morning about somebody who she met like recently, who seems like their paths had crossed years ago. Like, well, why didn't we really? Like the timing wasn't right. I just got a text message from somebody. She's like, Angel, we were supposed to get, I'm so glad because it worked out. Like we didn't meet. And sometimes it works out even better than we can imagine. And sometimes we just have to trust the process. And
Yep.
trust
You
trust
weren't
the
ready for
timing.
that person in that season of your life. You weren't ready for that coach in that season of your life, whatever
Yep.
it was. And then your paths cross again, and now you guys are both ready for each other. You know what I
Yes.
mean? The coach is ready for you. You're ready for the coach. You're ready to share your story. And that's why I'm so glad that Robert and I connected. He has a great podcast. Robert, give us a really quick overview of what Shut Up and Grind is all about.
Just the way it sounds. So it's helping people overcome obstacles. And obstacle number one is, the way I bluntly say it, is I help people sift through the BS they tell themselves. So that's the gist of it.
Because we do tell ourselves a whole lot of stuff that ain't true.
Yes.
A lot.
A lot. How do we connect with you? Where do we find it? How do we follow up with you? What do you want us to do next, Robert?
What do you want us to do next? So on the easiest way would be to connect with me on my website, because on my website all my other social channels are there. So it's robertbfoster.com/speaker. And then from there, like, I have a contact form, so my social sites are up at the top as well. And then you can see other things I've done. And then if we want to chat, we can chat.
You can chat. I'm excited because I'm going to be on his Shut Up and Grind podcast.
Yes. And we're going to rock that show.
So excited.
Is it on early in the morning or late at night?
It is definitely not late at night, because him and I would not be up.
Nope. I do 11 a.m. Eastern.
Oh, same
Well,
as us.
Only I can't do it at 11 a.m., so he's doing a special one for
Oh,
me.
that's right.
Did you join us today?
True.
How did you? Because how are you here today?
He doesn't do it every day.
Oh,
yeah. No.
We're the crazy ones that do a show every single day. Most do.
No, I'm building there.
Podcast. We're a morning show, so morning shows do it every day. Podcasts
True.
do it whenever they want to.
That's true.
I gotta get into podcasting.
We gotta change the Angel and Tina morning show into the Angel and Tina podcast show.
Right. Although I will tell you, like, as much as I whine about getting up and doing the show every single day and the commitment that it takes to do a show every single day, truly the show has been a saving grace for me during the pandemic, to have something to show up for every single day, a reason to show up, to get out of bed, to connect, to have something to look forward to, like all of it.
Angel, we've had probably about 250 guests on our show now, or no, 450 guests on our show now, right?
Nice.
We just celebrated our 200th episode, December 30th. But some of the amazing stories that people have told us on this show, like for the first time, sharing their story or telling their trials to triumph story, we are beyond grateful that we are the ones that get to share that with you and get to share that with the world, because what an amazing treat that is. So it's for us too. It is for us to get up out of bed and get dressed and get all dolled up and, still wear pajama pants on the bottom. But
I have sweatpants.
I got sweatpants on the bottom. I'm like, okay, I gotta look cute on top. I don't care what I
Although,
on the bottom.
This bright pink is really messing with my green screen today. I'm
It
noticing.
really
I'm like,
is.
yeah, like this is a terrible.
And I don't know why, because you're just not supposed to wear green on a green screen. But this pink,
must have
every
some.
time you move, it's
Yeah.
all messy.
Yeah.
I know. I was noticing that. I'm like, if I shift, like this shirt is really messing with the color today. So yeah, I'm gonna have to go change it for the rest of the day. These are lessons learned. Don't wear hot pink on a big screen. Somehow it messes with it, miss it too. But Robert, thank you. You've been just dynamite, just so charming, right? On the show, sharing your story, sharing something very personal about your family background, coming in and being unscripted, and then serving our audience too, and having Tina on the show and inviting our guests and our clients to be on your show. We are just so thankful.
In fact, Robert opened up some spots for my clients, for our clients, Angel, for the Shut Up and Grind podcast. because he was booked
Yes.
up until like May. I said, is this accurate? He goes, no, hold on.
Yeah, we've had
For you.
several of our friends now, right, who host a weekly show are adding an additional episode just to get our clients into the docket. So thank you for
Absolutely.
that and all that you're
My
doing.
pleasure.
And, yeah, so shout out also to Shay Brown for bringing us together. Loving on Shay
Happy
Brown.
entrepreneur. In fact, him and I just we were supposed to be speaking like 2 months ago or 3 months ago, and I just there's no way I'm gonna be able to stay up until 11 o'clock. But he was like, okay, Tina, this is what I'm gonna do for you. I have never done this for anybody else, but I'm gonna do a 3 o'clock interview with you. I was like, oh, thank you, Jesus. I love you.
Nice.
And he did a 3 o'clock interview, and we actually were able to do it last week. So
I had one, which I didn't realize it at first. I just saw something that I could speak on. I sent out my media pitch. They got back to me. They were interested. Like, all right, let's do it. I was like, game on. It says, 3:25 p.m. I was like, that's perfect. I don't have to be back to the gym till 4:30. They didn't realize it was Australia time.
What is that our time?
So it was 1:25 a.m.
I had a scenario, Robert. I mean, the time zone thing always messed with me. I'm super glad I'm on the East Coast now because
You're super glad. I'm super glad too.
Right? Because I was always messing it up earlier or later. It was just a weird thing that my brain I just had that little challenge. But we tried to do a 3-way call I had a gal in Buenos Aires and a gal in Australia and me in Mountain Time.
Colorado.
And yeah, I messed it up twice.
Wow.
And the one gal, she's like, I thought you were a professional. I thought you ripped me up. I'm like, I am so sorry.
I have a hard time with out of the country time zones. In the United States, I think I'm okay because I'm all the way on the East Coast.
Yeah, the East Coast thing helps. My husband said, Angel, I'm gonna have to move you to one side or the other. So they're either ahead or front. The middle, just like
it really does.
It did. And then you get daylight savings in there, like all this fun stuff.
And then Arizona is thrown in there too. And I'm like, yeah, I have no idea.
Yeah. All right. Well, fabulous show. Super fun. Great start to our day. For those of you who are following any of the summits that I am speaking on today, the Soulful Entrepreneur Summit, the Systems Summits, and Global Elevation Summit. All are happening today. Wow. So a little busy. And so super excited for this day, but this is the blessing, right? I'm in pajama pants. I'm home.
You don't have to travel. You didn't have to travel to California and travel to Arizona and then travel to Las Vegas. So you know what?
Yeah. So we take the blessings and the silver lining. I'm Angel Tuccy. I'm your media mastery exposure specialist. What am I? Your media matchmaker. That's it. Media. Right? Forget. I better get this together. I'm speaking like all day today. I better figure this out.
You know who you are.
Right? If you are looking for more exposure, more visibility for your business, your book, or your brand, you can grab your complimentary starter kit at makeyourbiguimpact.com. There's press release ideas. There's a full year of pitch headlines. There's guaranteed media, like tons of stuff we throw in. You can also grab a copy of my book, ABCs of Exposure, while you're there. But February 5th through 7th is our Media Mastery Bootcamp. It is a do not miss event. If you are looking to create the most amazing 2021 year for exposure, we have the most comprehensive Media Mastery Bootcamp coming up February 5th through the 7th. So grab that complimentary guide and get some information. Make sure you get your tickets to join us then.
I'm so excited. I cannot wait. And our Connect Summits are starting up next month. We are already almost booked up with all of our speakers. We have 30 speakers for the 2021 speaker series. And let me just tell you, Angel and I were going over some of the things earlier, and you guys are going to be in for a shocking surprise because 2021 is going to knock your socks off. I am Tina Torres, your client retention expert, otherwise known as the gratitude specialist. And if you're struggling with attracting the right clients, don't know how to connect to them, or even if you just don't know how to convert them into clients, I have a complimentary guide that I hope you grow your audience organically online and offline. connect and nurture those relationships authentically, and then take those relationships and turn them into paying clients. You can grab that guide if you text the word connection to 26786. That is the word connection to 26786. And of course, if you have not yet bought your book, Beyond Gratitude, you can still do so. It's only $5 on Amazon. Go to beyondgratitudebook.com, beyondgratitudebook.com. The reviews are coming in. Oh my gosh, it is amazing. Thank you guys all so much for helping this hit bestseller, and it is still sitting on bestseller status right now. We are Angel and Tina on the Angel and Tina Morning Show, where we come to you live every weekday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern. We are so grateful to you, our audience, our guest today, RBF in the house. We hope you guys have a bright day, bright, sunshiny day, and we will see you guys tomorrow. Have a good day, guys.
Bye.